Starting up or down?
We are starting up.
Right. How many people usually come, Mom?
You're looking at them. It's two lovely.
Oh. Only two. Just enjoying this if you want. Maybe I'll write down what we're doing. Take it away. Okay, hold on.
We'll see in a minute. You know where to go? Do you want to ask Liz?
Do you know where the restroom is?
The restroom? Yeah, so if you go out this door to and you're gonna go to the right, and then the girl back here, so you're gonna go around that corner down that hallway. It's so weird because like in that hallway, both restrooms are right next to each other, but in this hallway, they're like one's right here by the office and the other one's like around the corner. So I'm like, a little kid.
I always wondered too, is it by design that a lot of these buildings have the office in the middle of the building?
You know, I think that's a great question, but I think originally, like when you first walk in and you look down that hallway, that wasn't there. So, and I don't know, so this entrance was added, and I actually think the door on Parkview Street used to be the main door. So, but, I mean, yeah, so still the office is in the middle, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so we are going to start up, and we'll start at the top of the mat. In mountain pose. And you can totally take your time getting there. Feeling into your feet. Shifting your weight around. Bending the knees, working through the joints. And if stillness right away is kind of itchy, then move around a little bit, move around until we get ready to drop in. And over the course of the next couple of breaths, let's just do that drop in. So slowly bring those movements to stillness. Start to situate, stack the skeleton. Feel yourself land in your heels and the balls of your feet. And exhale all the air out. Clean house. And then inhale, big breath in. And all the way out. And then biggest breath you've taken today. Fill up all sides of the lungs, chest, upper back. And exhale. Keep your feet planted. Next inhale, start to drop back into chair pose and sweep your arms up by your ears. And we'll move with breath. The exhale, push down through your feet, sweep your arms down by your sides. Nice and slow. Inhale, arms go up, seat sinks way back, knees pull back. Yeah. Exhale to stand. Inhale to sit. Beautiful. Really get the belly involved here so that all of that movement is centered around the abdominals. Chair pose. Stay here as you exhale. Let the hips sink a little bit lower. Pull back through the sits bones a little bit more and draw your belly up away from your thighs. Soften the inner edges of the shoulders and lengthen through the backs of the arms, all the way out to the pinky and ring fingers. Long through the back of the neck. Take another breath in. Let it fill up the back of the scalp. This time as you exhale, forward fold, lay the belly on the thighs.
And you can keep the knees bent, or you can gradually start to tip the hips up. Rock more weight
Into the balls of the feet. Breathe here in your forward fold.
Now, in the way that we refine Tadasana, mountain pose, start to refine the forward fold. So draw your shoulders up your back, away from your ears toward your hips. Lengthen the crown of the head down toward your toes. Feel like there are zippers running up the backs of the legs. And then take your sits bones a little bit wider, so you broaden across your seat. You might find that helps to activate the inner thighs a bit more. Another breath here. And take a halfway lift on an inhale.
You can slide the hands up to the shins or the knees if you like. Lengthen out. As you exhale, fingertips to the floor. Keep the chest looking forward. Send the right leg back. Long, low lunge. Back knee lifted in this low lunge. And then pull up out of the bowl of the pelvis. So you start to lengthen up out of the quads. Through the front of the hips. Flexor, psoas, up into the belly, and up into the chest. Roll your shoulders down your back. Breathe in. Swing your left leg up and back. 3-leg dog. Start to anchor into your right heel and walk your hands back towards your right toes, keeping the left leg high for a standing split at the back of the mat. If it feels good, take a little halfway lift, draw the belly away from that standing thigh, and then fold back in. And let's get in there with the right hand behind the calf today, or heel or ankle, so you've got a grip on that leg. Pull yourself closer to that base leg. And think about those mechanics of mountain pose and the forward fold that we used a moment ago, lengthening through the sides of the neck, drawing the shoulders up and away from the ears. Strengthening the legs. You want to take your left hand to your ankle as well and start to work a little balance. Focus your eyes first, just as you would in tree pose. And then maybe take the left hand to the ankle. Fingertips to the floor for support. We'll swing that left foot down, hips width apart from the right. Take another little halfway lift here. Breathe in. And belly to the thighs. Breathe out. Upward salute. Rise with a strong core. Reach your arms to the sky. And as you exhale, swing your hands behind your back and release your fingers. Put a little bend in your knees. Stretch your arms away from you, behind your back, and take it back down into a fold, this time with the bind of the hands to help stretch the shoulders. So a tiny bend in the elbows will help to keep from locking out there. And it might actually move that stretch deeper down into the delts. So these little adjustments, the movements of the hands, the micro adjustments, whether you squeeze the heels of the hands together or allow them to float apart, just makes a difference in how each pose feels in your body. You have agency
all of those buttons and levers. Release your hands. Start to walk forward into a plank pose. Again, draw the shoulders onto the back. And from your plank, we're going to try to lower knees and elbows at the same time. So you have to shift your weight back, start to bend into your knees, send your hips back towards your heels, and see if you can land 2 elbows to your knees same time. Good. Keep the navel drawn up to the spine. Let's push right back up into plank. Elbows and knees leave the ground at the same time. Push forward. With just as much control and thought, let's do that again. Hinge back, send your hips towards your heels. Slowly, slowly lower, elbows, knees. Look forward, shoot the shoulders over the wrists, plank pose. Let's do that a couple more times. Lower to the knees and the elbows. And then spring forward to plank. Just one more like that. Squeeze the elbows in toward the midline. Keep the knees, hips width apart and land. And this time, dolphin pose. Keep the elbows down. Lift the hips up and lengthen through the backs of the legs. And this forearm version of downward facing dog. Press down through the forearms, down through the backs of the wrists. And maybe tiptoe your feet in a little bit. Start to tent the hips up a little bit higher. Let your head drop in between your arms. And release the back of the neck, release any pressure in the forehead, eyes, cheeks. Push the ground away with your elbows so much that you feel your shoulders lift up toward your hips. And then lower your knees down to the mat. Keep your toes tucked under and start to walk your hands back toward your knees. Sit your hips back toward your heels. Good. See if you can bring the shoulders all the way back over the hips. Find that sense of ease in the posture. And inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. You can interlace your fingers if you like. Take temple mudra, first finger and the thumb extended. And just breathe here, feeling a lift up out of the rib cage, even as the pelvis sits heavily against the heels. Opening and expanding the space around the lungs. Sweep your hands back down. Crawl the hands forward into tabletop. And then right into downward facing dog. We'll push back through the heels. Push up and back through the thighs. Stretching the soles of the feet keeps working here, even in the downward facing dog, and helps us to access more calf. Look forward toward your hands. Step walk or hop your feet forward. Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, belly long. Forward fold, breathe out. Reach all the way up to the sky, breathe in. Mountain pose, let your arms drop down by your sides, let your shoulders drop down as you exhale. Right into second side, inhale, chair pose. Exhale to stand, drop your arms back down. Good. Inhale, chair, sink your hips way down. As you exhale, push through your feet like you're gonna push through the floor. Inhale. Exhale, Tadasana. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to stay, this time in the chair pose. The exhale can come. And the next inhale.
Stay with it, dropping down into the soles of the feet, spreading the toes. And then take it into a forward fold as you exhale. Dropping your head toward the earth, lifting your hips toward the sky. That inverted positioning. 180 in perspective.
Next inhale comes, halfway lift.
And then fingertips to the mat, left leg back this time. Long stride between the 2 feet. Pull the chest forward, pull the belly up, and pause. Activate the legs by squeezing the feet toward one another on your mat. Another inhale, curl the chest forward and up. And then exhale, plant the hands, right leg goes up and back to 3-leg up. Start to walk your hands back toward your left toes, keeping your right leg as high as you can over your body. Standing split back on the mat. Maybe lift the rib cage off of the left thigh and then lengthen back down to get a little more depth. Push your outer left hip back. Create that space to fold into. And maybe left hand holds the back of the ankle or the calf. Bend that left elbow and draw yourself in close. Key here is that working the base leg will transfer power to that lifted leg as well. Firmly planting into the sole of your left foot. Feeling that energy zip up through the left leg into the pelvis, and then the right leg bolts a little bit higher.
Maybe right hand moves to the ankle as well. You work on that balance. Just the left foot. Eyes find a single point of focus. Step on the mat in front of you, maybe. And then the hands become a support again, fingertips to the floor. We'll lower the right leg down next to the left, hips width apart. Halfway lift, lengthen the sides of the waist, lift up through the belly. Exhale. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Reach your arms to the sky.
Exhale, lace the fingers behind you. Maybe put the awkward thumb on top. Stretch your knuckles away from you as you start to bend at the hips, bend at the knees, and forward. Letting the pinky fingers fall up and over behind the head, and maybe using the activation of the arms to pull the shoulder heads up away from the base of the skull. Yeah, space around the back of the neck there.
Release the hands out in front of the toes and then walk forward into a plank position.
Slide the shoulder blades down the back as though you're going to put them in the back pockets of your jeans. Pull the front hip points up toward your lowest ribs. Whole belly toned. We'll do those moves again where we send the hips back like we're getting ready to crouch, elbows and knees tap down to the floor. And then spring forward to plank. with control, lower back, keep the spine long. And then extend heart forward out beyond the fingertips. Hinge back. Good. Keep the elbows squeezing in, come forward. Even in that plank pose, you feel that traction of the elbows toward one another. And then glide back, keep squeezing the elbows in. Last one, come forward. And then go back, see if you can land all four, same time. Drop your head, look back toward your knees and lift them up. Dolphin pose. Maybe walking your feet in a little bit, but certainly scooping up through the belly and pushing down through the forearms. And then the head can hang in that space between the elbows and the upper arm bones. Imagine the head like appended, the end of the chain of the spine. Breath full and deep. Wait for that next exhale to cue the knees to drop to the floor. And then walk your hands back, sit back onto your heels. That soul stretch. Feel as though the front and back sides of the body are even. When you're ready, add the arms, sweep them up alongside the ears. Clasp the hands if you like. And feel the whole mechanism of the upper body gliding upward through space as the lower body stays anchored. Release the hands to the mat in front of the knees. Walk out to tabletop. Right into downward facing dog. Adjust the hands and the feet if you need to. So you've got that nice long, expansive down dog where the limbs have room to stretch out and the spine is really lengthening the limbs down where the arms down. Look forward, step walker, hop your feet, top of the mat. Halfway lift, breath in. Forward fold, breath out. Rise all the way up, breathe in. This time, chair pose as you breathe out, sink the hips back. Firm into the sole of your left foot. Keep that left knee bent and start to pick the right leg up behind you, shifting toward warrior three. Gradually moving into that full extension. See if you can keep the arms extended alongside the ears, thumbs pointing up. That becomes too much on the back body, then arms can sweep back by the sides. Use breath to fuel and lift the belly. And then we go to warrior one. So gently step that right leg toward the back of the mat. Land with the heel down and take your hands behind your back and release your fingers. Proud chest, proud warrior. Dive your front knee forward as you pull up and back with your shoulders. And then humble, bow to the inside of your front thigh. Back foot stays glued. Reach the arms up and overhead. Slide the side of the ribcage down to your left inner thigh if you can. Slide your shoulder down inside that knee. And again, just like in dolphin pose, let the head drop, let the back of the neck open. Squeeze your outer left hip in toward the midline.
Release the hands. Frame your front foot. Come onto the ball of your back foot so you can sweep right up and back to three-leg dog, left leg high. Scissor the legs apart, keep reaching up and back with the left heel and walk your hands towards your right toes, standing split, back and back. Some familiarity and some newness all woven together. Inhale, reach that left leg up a little bit higher. As you exhale, swing the left leg down and cross it over the right. So you cross at your ankles and you line up around your pinky toes. Yeah. Block underneath the hands might be really nice here. Lengthen the belly off of the thighs. And then bow down. Keeping a deep bend in your left knee, that front knee, and maybe a little bend in your back knee as well. Walk your hands underneath your shoulders. Let's keep the cross of the legs. Slowly rise up to stand. Arms will come up alongside the ears. Cross the left wrist in front of the right wrist and then turn your palms in toward one another. Stretch straight up and then over to the right. Push your left hip to the side. And drop your left hip back slightly too, back toward the back edge of your mat. Back up to center, take a breath in. Keep the arms lifted, undo the crossing of those wrists, undo the crossing of the legs, and then gaze up. Forward fold, hands to the floor. Walk all the way out to plank. Pausing to set the shoulders over the wrist, to push down through the big toe mounds, lengthen through the sternum. And we're gonna come to chaturanga and pause. So you lower halfway, and then dip 2 knees down, kiss the floor with your knees, and then lift them back up. So the arms stay, drop the knees, and lift. Drop, and lift. 3, 2, 1, knees down. Push through cobra, let the hips press down and forward. Roll the shoulders back, open the clap. And hinge back, downward facing dog. So before we had the help of the knees to lower the elbows down, let's see if we can land both elbows at the same time without the knees here. So keeping the legs like down dog, spin the elbows in toward the midline and lower them down into dolphin pose. Yeah, good. And then hips up high, feel the scoop of the low belly. All the weight in the right leg. Right leg gets really strong, so you firm that outer left hip in and take, the left foot, yeah. And take the right leg straight out to the side. Right leg out to the side, lift it up as high as you can, straight out in line with your hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hover it next to your left foot. And then we're making an L shape, so lift it straight up behind you. Just like 3-leg dog. Push down through your elbows. And then step your right foot just a quarter step in front of the left. So you have a little kind of mountain climber leg, still down on your elbows. So you can step or hop your feet like mountain climbers here. Switching left foot forward, right leg back, right foot forward, left leg back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now where that front foot has landed, try to bring the back foot in to meet it and push down so the hips go high. Yeah, and then drop your knees down. Walk your hands back toward your knees. I'm sweaty. Reach behind you with your right hand for your right heel. We're gonna push up like camel pose and swing the left arm up. Kind of lean to the right. Your right ear can drop toward your right shoulder. And then we'll sit back down. Left arm dials back toward the back of the mat. Right arm reaches forward. Open arm twist. Move back and forth. Right hand, right heel. Left hand to the sky. Lift and open. Sit back. Turn to your left. Again. Good. Last time through camel. We'll reach the left arm up to the sky. Push the hips forward, push the knees down. And then look toward the top of the mat. As you come out of the pose, we'll put the left hand down. And we're gonna roll toward side plank. So we're gonna start to turn to the right. We'll stand on the right foot and kick the left leg out. Maybe tap it with your right hand. So we've got a bent like right leg, so we've got a good solid foundation here in this side plank. Yeah, and maybe you release that toe. See if you can keep the leg lifted. Reach the right arm to the sky. And then 3-leg dog. Slip that left leg through. Kick it up and back. Big breath in, left heel high. We'll step forward with the left foot on the breath out. Back knee down. Inhale, arms up by the ears, Anjaneyasana. Sink the hips toward your front heel. And then hands go behind the back. Really working that class today. Stretch the arms back along the line of the back leg. Lift the chest up in the opposite direction. Really feel like all of the action and energy is moving up and out through the heart space. That's where the work is in the pose. Everything else is just steady and still. Good. Look forward. Release your hands. Frame your front foot. Lift up into a supported warrior 3. That back leg will float up behind you. Hands stay underneath your shoulders. Pause for a moment. Feel energy reaching through both legs. And then hover that right leg next to the left. Take the right leg straight out to the side, that lateral lift that we played with in the dolphin pose. Outer ankle lifts up. Keep the foot flexed, like you're pushing into a wall out to the side there. And then lower that right foot down, hips width apart from the left. Fold into your legs, soften into bent knees, let the head go. Next inhale, we rise all the way up to touch the sky. Exhale to chair pose. Sink the hips back. Okay. Tone the belly. The right leg carries the body here. Start to lift that left leg up and back. Virabhadrasana 3. Extending out from your very center. Both arms are an extension of the heart space. So what do you want to offer? What do you want to send out here?
Take that bend in the right knee again to get low and start to softly step back into warrior one. Arms breeze by the ears for a moment, and then they circle back behind. Interlace your fingers. Proud chest as you tuck your upper arm bones behind you. The heart pours forward. Big breath in. And then dive to the inside of your front thigh, humble warrior, without letting the right hip pop out. And the option here is to find a little reprieve by resting the right side of the ribs on top of the thigh, or to go a little deeper and slide the ribs down to the inside of that leg. To allow the head to rest, that lower body has to stay at work.
Hands come down to frame your front foot lift.
Take any roundness out of the spine that you had from that humble warrior and pop the back heel up. 3-leg dog, right leg goes high. And then start to walk your hands back toward your left toes. A moment to lengthen and fold. And then the right leg comes down and crosses at the ankle and the knee, just over the left. Line up with your pinky toes. Square yourself over this new foundation, and then fold down into the legs. Putting a little bend behind each knee. And noticing where exactly you feel this forward fold in your body. Same mechanics as our previous forward fold. Sits bones up and wide. Spine long and lengthy. Head hanging, but shoulders retracting. Make sure you've got some bend in the knees. Start to lift the chest, fingertips underneath the shoulders. We'll come all the way up to stand with the legs crossed. And then cross the right arm in front of the left and wrap your palms to touch. Lift straight up out of the crown of the head, right up into the peak of your hands, and then over to the left. You can allow that right hand to pop out to the side here a little bit more, curving into the side base. But keep extending long all the way up and onto the arms. Inhale back up your center. Undo the crosses. Lift the gaze for a moment. And then bow down. Walk your hands out to plank. Take that chaturanga pause for a moment. So shoulders down your back. We're gonna bend the elbows 90 degrees. Pause in your chaturanga, just bend the knees, tap the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, One, knees can stay down while you scoop the chest up and forward and then flip to the tops of the toes. Maybe up dog, push down through the tops of the feet and lift up through the tops of the thighs. Downward facing dog. Last dolphin pose. Wrap your elbows in toward midline. See if you can land your forearms parallel to one another, elbows directly below the shoulders. Good. We'll lift the left leg straight out to the side in line with the hip. And it might not go very high, but try to keep it forward, toes forward toward the backs of your arms, yeah. And then just lift it as high as you can. See if you can rotate that big toe up a little bit more. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hover and extend it up and back like 3-leg dog. Yeah, let that energy pull you up out of the shoulders. Okay, step your left foot just a little half step in front of the right. Preparing for those mountain climbers, we'll keep the shoulders right over the elbows, we'll keep the chest buoyant, hop or step the feet. Right foot forward, left foot forward. Four, 3, 2, 1. Whatever foot lands in front, that's your target now. Step up into it. Reach the hips up really high. Everything up over the shoulders. And then lower the knees down into the mat. Walk back, sit back onto the heels. Left hand to left heel. We'll open up like camel with a little twist. So long femur bone. And then sit back, turn to the right. Right hand to the back of the mat, left hand. And flow into finish with one more of those camel variations. Allow the chest to expand. And then look forward toward the front of your mat. Right hand will come down. Preparing for tabletop plank. Snuggle the back of that right shoulder in so you start to turn out to the left. Stand into your left foot, with your left knee bent. And take your right leg out, straight out in front of you. Tap your toes, maybe even hold those toes with your left hand. Good. Lean your chest back. Keep that leg lifted, reach your left arm to the sky, so if you can open up a bit more. And then thread it through. 3-leg dog, right leg goes up and up. Breath in here. And breath out to step to low lunge. Back knee drops down. Arms lift up. Hands clasped behind you. Good. Melt the hips toward the front heel, but lift up through the pelvic floor and let that energy rise all the way up into the heart space. Up into the throat. Right up to that point behind, between the eyebrows. Release the hands. Crawl out to lift that back leg up behind you, supported warrior 3. Firm your outer right hip in. And then bring that left leg to a hover next to the right. We'll laterally lift the left leg out to the side, so outer ankle up, inner ankle up, leg lengthening. And then keep the chest long as well. And lower it down. Drop into your legs. Maybe separate the feet a little bit wider, go ragdoll. Roll the spine up slowly, letting the arms die tall, letting the head hang. And then very gently reach the arms up. And then float all the way back down, forward fold. Step the right leg back to the back of the mat. So lift it on the fingertips, pull the chest forward. Step the left leg back, plank position. Lower down to the mat. Simple cobra pose, chest up, legs long. Push onto all fours, hands and knees. Round your back like cat, curl your chin in towards your chest. And then drop the belly. Open the front of the throat. Downward facing dog, toes. Gently lift the gaze toward the hand. Lift the heels away from the mat. And step or hop to the top. Ragdoll again. So settle back down into the feet, bend into the knees. Soften into the palms. Roll it up very slowly. Once you feel the shoulders uncurled and the arms can start to lift. And softly fold back down. Halfway lift, look forward. Step your left leg to the back of the mat. Good, look forward. Palms down, step the right leg back to meet it, plank position. Shoulder blades together on your back. And drop to the floor. Cobra pose. And push up to tabletop. Right into cat, round your back. And to cow, drop the belly. And to cat again. And to cat. One more time, cat. And cat. downward facing dog. We built up the layers. Now we're slowly peeling them away. This is what's been cooking there underneath. The process of all those layers accumulating. What's at the core? Exhale, child's pose. Drop to the knees.
Soften through the elbows, maybe even turn the palms up. Pick yourself up and walk over to the right. Taking your belly button over onto the right thigh. And press your palms into the floor firmly, almost like you were doing a down dog. We'll stay kind of out on this angle, but walk the hands in and shift the heels over to the left so you pick them out from underneath you. And then continue to walk the hands around to the right. So you start to point the right shoulder toward the back of the mat and the left shoulder toward the front of the mat. The back of your left hand can come to the front of that knee right there and use that as leverage, a pivot point to turn your chest. And then look forward. And let's sit back up onto the heels. Fold over the thighs. Child's pose again. When you're ready, start to work it over to the left. Belly button up over that left thigh. Palms press. Stay on this angle, just walk the hands in. Pop the heels out to the right. And then work your way to sit up as tall as you can. Yeah. And start to twist, drawing that left shoulder head back toward the back of the mat. Right hand can press against the thigh, palm turned out. Softening your bottom ribs down to the bottom.
Forward.
And release the twist. Swing your legs all the way out in front of you. Elevator up the spine, up the back of the neck, slight tilt of the chin toward the chest. And then walk forward, Paschimottanasana. Find ourselves again in that same forward folded position that we worked a lot with tonight. So see if here, you can draw the shoulders not only down away from the ears, but also toward the back plane of the body. So they're resisting the gravity that's folding down and forward. Look up beyond your toes. And then push into your hands inside your hips toward your heels to come down onto your backs. Keep the left foot down with the knee bent. Take the right leg straight up into the air. Hands can support that back of that leg if you like, or just be down by your sides. We'll roll through the ankle. And all 5 toes. Make sure you go both directions. And then flex the foot, reach out through the heel. Maybe slide the hands up the back of the leg. Get another version of a forward fold. And then just start to release that leg. Bend the knee, right foot to the mat. And switch sides. Left leg goes up. And just work the ankle. Flex through the foot, pull the toes back toward your shin. Slide your hands up the back of the leg. Send your sits bones forward toward the front edge of your mat and out wide, just like we would another forward fold. Bend your left leg. Release that foot back down to the mat. Arms release down by your sides, and then the legs extend out. Allow this rest period to be an homage to the put it into today's practice. Same kind of acute awareness you use to find alignment and use to find stamina. Use that awareness to move inward through that space of rest. Then breath to your hips. Then breath down the backs of your legs. Pull breath up over the front of the legs, up over the front of the body, as though you're pulling a blanket up. Swirl that breath all the way up over the chest and let it spill out over the shoulders and down the arms and into the palms. Lengthen breath. Draw the arms up overhead. Feel the body breathe there for a moment. We'll pull the feet back in so the knees are bent. And from there, you can roll onto your side. Pause for a moment for one more Have a breath. And then you can rise all the way up to sit. Hand to hand, touch the powder. Look at that. Comes the heart. Thank you.